Hey, I'm Dukes on Twitch. If you want to support the channel and greensunzenith.com, you can find my Patreon, merch store, and singles store where you can buy singles through TCG Player or Card Hoarder in the video description. If you want to get in contact, you can also find all that info in the description below for things like donation deck lists or just wanting to reach out. Alright, let's get right into it. Hey team, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with a donation deck list from Jake, and this is a 5.0 list, or very close to it, that recently made it into MTG Goldfish and onto our radar, and it looks pretty cool. It is a Yorion based Abzan deck that obviously plays a fair amount of lands and has a depths combo, a field plan, a mid-range plan with knights, a primetime plan. It's a pretty mid-rangey deck, and a deck that definitely appeals to me. 80 cards in paper isn't that appealing, just due to shuffling, but I will play Yorion online any day, every day. And this deck obviously has some cards that don't usually see too much play in Legacy. The first one is Brought Back, which is pretty cool. This is an instant for 2 white. Choose up to 2 target permanent cards in your graveyard that will put there from the battlefield this turn. Return them onto the battlefield tapped. This is pretty cool with fetch lands, of course. With the Dark Depths combo, you can get back Dark Depths and field, which is very cool. And then it also works pretty well with Solitude, which is nice. So you can, of course, evoke a Solitude and then bring it back for 2 mana if you want to, which I really nice. It's also choose up to 2 target permanents, so you don't need 2 to go to the graveyard in the same turn, which is really nice. We also have Cosmic Intervention, which is a commander card that was recently printed. So it's a 4 mana instant. If a permanent you control would be put into a graveyard from the battlefield this turn, you exile it instead, and then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. So you can also cast this for Tell, which is 1 and a white, and then during your turn you may pay 2 and exile this card from your hand face down, and then cast it on a later turn for its Foretell cost, which is really nice. A little bit to do with your mana, a little bit like putting Yorion into your hand, and works really well with lands leaving the field, permanents leaving the field, like creatures as well. So after something like a Supreme Verdict is pretty sweet. Otherwise, the deck has a lot of playables in it. Crop Rotations, Elvish Reclaimers, Green Suns. You're going to get a lot of your consistency from these cards, being Reclaimer, Sylvan Library, Green Suns, Crop, and Knight, all pretty much 4-ofs except for Sylvan Library. Just be able to make sure you can find the half of the deck that you want against the deck that you need it against. You can see this deck is a little bit tough against combo, but hopefully we don't play against too much combo. Hey, Red. Very cool to hear you're playing Green White Depths, and did pretty well in a tournament. Nice. Yeah, pretty keen to see how this goes. I was a little bit intrigued by the amount of lands in this deck without any sort of exploration effects, but I'm pretty keen just to keep the same list as the 5.0. The only change I made was I took out 2 Misties, and I added in a Scrubland, and I added in Renegade Rallier, because I think Renegade Rallier in this version plays really well with kind of the Brought Back Cosmic Intervention kind of role. Allows you to ramp, get closer to the field, sort of combo, get back maybe 1 piece of the Thespian Stage or Dark Depths combo. So yeah, pretty keen to see how this goes. We also have a nice number of main deck tutorable cards in Ghost Quarter, Dark Depths and Thespian Stage, Field of the Dead, Maze of Ith, Caracas, Paducah Bog, Glacial Chasm, Dried Arbor. We have 4 Flagstones, 4 Reclaimers and Crops. So this should be pretty fun. And then the board, we have Opposition Agent, which is a card I haven't played too much with, but I do really like the card. And it obviously seems pretty strong in this one. And yeah, I guess like other kind of like mainstay cards you'd think, like a second Maze of Ith, a Blast Zone to wipe the board against something like Elves, or even a blue-red Delver deck playing a lot of 1-drops. Tabernacle for the Go White strategies as well. Night of Autumn. No Force of Vigor, but I'm going to assume that's just because we can't find it, but we can find things like Night of Autumn and Collector Oof with Green Suns, so I do like that's happening. I think that if this Blastoise card being played in 8-cast becomes like the real deal and that deck gets a lot more play, then Seeds of Innocence is a card that I really like in green decks. It is obviously a lot narrower than Force of Vigor, but being able to hit that big turtle is exactly what I want to be doing in Legacy right now. So let's see how this performs. This should be a pretty fun league. So sit back and enjoy. Whew. I had a bucks last night, so I'm a little bit under the weather, but hopefully it's all good. Hey Panda, I like the emote. Very cool. But what doesn't coffee fix? Let's be honest. If Jerry Freeman was here in chat, he would definitely agree with me that coffee is nearly a potion that can cure all needs. A big thank you to you guys on YouTube as well. I just passed 1900 subs, which is very cool, getting towards that 2K mark. So yeah, a huge thank you. If you do like this content and you're watching it on YouTube, definitely consider subscribing or following. It takes a few seconds and it means a lot. Big shout outs as well to Card Hoarder, who allowed me to actually play these decks as well, which is very cool. And MTG Mate, who I recently got some cards from, which is nice, building some modern. And I think I got some... obviously I had to pick up some Baneslayers, but yeah, really cool to get always have the support of Nick and the team and MTG Mate, which is cool. Too kind. But yeah, Modern's in a interesting spot. I used to play a bunch of Modern, and it was kind of my way to get into Legacy. I started off with like a green-white Hate Bears deck, which played like the classic Leon and Arbiters and Sarah Avengers, locks it on Smiters, very Brian Kibler-esque. And then found out about a Death and Taxes deck in Legacy, and I guess the rest is history. But yeah, I remember playing my first Legacy event with D&T, and I had Leon and Arbiter still in D&T because I thought it was just a Legacy card, and I remember playing Arbiter first and then playing Stoneforge Mystic and going to search, and my opponent being like, you can't pay for that. I'd be like, this card doesn't make it into the deck. Hey Northern Angel, very cool to see you. Should update this stream as well, because we are playing Yorion Abzan Depths. There we go. Nice. Hey, Mighty Penguin. Played around with Green White Depths last night. Very cool. Did you play any like spicy cards in the 75? Anything for like your local meta? Same with you, Red. Did you play like a pretty stock list, or did you play any sort of interesting singletons for Green Sun Zenith or a Knight? It's always cool seeing people play around with cards like Tower of the Magistrate. That's a good one. Arbiter and Corda was fun in Modern. It was fun for me, maybe not for my opponents. Especially the old trick of like a opponent pays for Arbiter and goes to search, and then you Restoration Angel the same Arbiter, and then they have to obviously pay an additional 2 and sometimes can't. That can be pretty tilting. A Boreal Grazer, nice. Hey, Dark Poet Bill, welcome. Hey, Nick. Yes, Torrin, nice. Yeah, Torrin's an interesting one. Pretty cool to go wide. It's only 3 mana, which is nice. It's a legendary creature. Very cool. Hey, Poet, too kind. Too kind for the resub. 5 months is very cool. Good to see you as well. A Boreal Grazer for Goblin Guides. Nice. That's cool. You've been playing Bant Depths, Slowgurk in the main. Slowgurk seems very strong. It just needs to find that place. But what other blue cards are you playing in Bant? Or is it like I see most decks are playing just a Light Splash. Do you have to reveal Yorion? We are going to get these hands, which makes sense, but I don't think this is a keep. Sadly, just really can't cast anything we draw into, so pretty happy to mulligan for something like this, honestly. I'm going to keep this and probably just bottom the Outland Liberator. Really nice that Outland Liberator and Broadback also work well together. Alright. Saying good luck, have fun. As always, that is the point of Magic. I'm just going to lead on the Wooded Foothills. It can get Dried Arbor if I really need it, and it's also just a little bit playing around Wasteland. Arid Mesa. Okay, either burn or like a blue-white control deck. Or neither. Oh, okay, this could be like a Jund deck. Okay. Hey, Optimal MTG, thanks for the raid. A huge thank you. What did you just play? And how did you go? We're supposed to have fun. So this is a pretty interesting hand because if we really want to next turn, we can play a land. Oh, they hit a hollow one as well? Okay. We can double Solitude next turn, which is pretty cool. I don't want to drop the Knight though, so I want to see if we draw another white card. Swords. Well, that's pretty good as well. Is this discard or exile? It's exile, okay. I think I'd rather exile the Swords to the Solitude and then brought back instead of Knight, because Knight's kind of our follow-up play of just like allowing us to have a pretty good board. But I didn't think we would get to this situation, and this is really nice. 2 slow Gurks? Nice, that's cool. What about the mana base for Bant Depths? Do you play a higher number of Trops than Savannas, or would you keep them on par? The question is, do I want to take this or just Solitude now? I guess I don't need to brought back until end step anyway. See if they use their mana. They don't. Okay. Interesting. Hey, Money Man. We can kill the Imp as well, yeah, which is a nice one. So let's go and get a Savannah. And then we get to brought back our land and Solitude, which is pretty sweet. Let's be honest. It comes in tapped, so I couldn't block as well, but would have been pretty close to it. But this is a really nice spot, because now we get to Wasteland and Knight. I could also go in for Endurance this turn, but I think Wasteland here is pretty nice. Also keeps him off like Burning Inquiry. But yeah, Solitude, really, really nice. I just wanted to make sure they didn't play like a second main big creature that I wanted to hit with Solitude instead of what they had in play. Probably just gonna... Oh, okay. That's probably Lights Out, which is quite nice. Eating the Ox here is quite awesome. Just a hard card for them to deal with. I am just going to eat it now. Is there a reason to hold it up? 3... Yeah, I guess because they can LED and then straight away escape. So I might as well just eat in their upkeep. I could also hold back the Knight here and hold up Bog. A lot of different plays, which is pretty nice. We have a lot of things to do, so... Yeah, in all honesty, I think that it's a case of just being so far ahead, especially with the brought back. Brought back's really nice because it also just meant that, you know, usually against a deck like Jund, Jund Madness, you don't want to get rid of a Swords to Plowshares. So I think exiling a Swords to Plowshares there just shows how good of a position we were in. All right, sideboarding, interesting one. Hey, Mining Man, welcome. March of Otherworldly Light could replace. Yeah, that's very true. That's that instant speed card, which is pretty awesome. What do we want to take out? We didn't see Hogak, but I'm always cautious, so I'm going to keep in the Caracas. This list is some spice. I think Primetime's just a little bit too heavy. I don't mind Surgicals going after... you know what they're called. Surgicals going after Vengevines. Ramanap's also pretty slow. The libraries are also a little bit rough because they can just be so aggressive. Agent no, Carpet no, Collector Oof I don't think really has an impact. Like by the time we find it, our opponents probably use their LEDs. Endurance is obviously really solid. Blast Zone's also pretty interesting. I could just see all three coming out. Hey, Glacier 6, too kind. Too kind. A huge thank you. Too good. Hey, Strass, welcome. Hey, Victor. Very nice to see you guys. It could just be interventions as well. They're a little bit too high. Have a quick look. Could just be the quarter. Night of Autumn's actually quite nice as a Green Sun's target because it gets rid of Hollow One on the board, which might come up. And also, like, if I can take an LED when they don't want to use the LED, that's pretty nice as well. Too kind, Victor. Yeah, it's always cool to try out new things. And I think a Yorion build of a Lands Maverick deck is pretty cool. Alright. A pretty slow hand, to be fair. But we do have something like turn 2 Elvish Reclaimer into turn 3 Tab or Glacial Chasm. Getting Chasm and then getting rid of Flagstones is kind of cool. The question is, do we have a turn 3? This deck could be very fast. This hand also with Broadback gets to like field pretty quickly. Yeah, I think it's just a little bit slow because we could go turn 1 Wooded Foothills Pass, turn 2 Windswept Heath, Green Suns for... Actually, no, we'd go Flagstones, Green Suns for Elvish Reclaimer. And then we have 3 mana, 2 to go and get Glacial Chasm, 1 to go and get... or 1 left over for Flagstones, which we can then sack and get a land anyway. I think I do want to shore up the early game. That's probably where I just... Yeah. I think this hand doesn't have a great plan against the early game, so... This isn't too bad, especially the Blast Zone as well. I kind of like dropping the Vesuva here. But Vesuva as a second copy of Maze is pretty interesting. I could see dropping the Plains. And then we still have 1, 2, 3 mana for the Endurance. Yeah, Chasm's definitely pretty interesting as well. Chasm's nice against this deck just to buy some time. And then Broadback as well means you can like not pay for it. And then just get it back at instant speed. Opponent goes to 5. Sure. Yavimaya off the top would be pretty cool. Pretty happy just to Maze and pass. The only thing with Maze here is that it means that unless we draw Yavimaya, we then are putting ourselves off Endurance for another turn. But I kind of don't want to lose the Maze to like a Burning Inquiry, so I think that's fine. Tough one though. That's a really nice pickup. And I am going to fetch for that as well. Just going to get a Savannah. I could have kept it if I was really scared of their graveyard and wanted a green card for endurance, but... Interesting. I wonder what my opponent kept. Maybe they had like a hand of hollow ones but didn't have a way to discard. Or they just had like a bunch of like Venge Vines but didn't have the mana to cast like 2 creatures. I mean, we'll take it. We'll take it. Alright, back in. Nice. Fast magic, that's what I like. Up against Wing Zero. Last seen on Sneak and Show. Sneak is gonna be tough. Especially with this list. We don't have a green source, which is huge. We kind of have a green source because we can find a Savannah off the flagstones if we play a second one. But I think we have a better chance of hitting a green source off the mulligan. This is actually pretty good. I'll keep this in bottom the bog and then see if we can go like turn library into Dark Depths. Ooh, DRC. Okay. So it's going to be Delver, which isn't too bad. I don't want to get Wastelanded, so we'll lead on the Forest. Brainstorm. Snow-covered forest also could mean a variety of things. I haven't seen Icefang Quaddle in this format in a long time, but it is a reason to run Snow-covered plains, so maybe my opponent is thinking about Icefang down the line. Instead of a deck like Yorion Maverick Depths Field. Second main Ponder or Delver? Delver. Okay. Knight. Some interesting plays here. I could play the Savannah and tap out for Library, which obviously gets eaten by Daze, and a Wasteland on the Savannah on the swingback would be pretty brutal. But I really need to dig for removal here, or just try to find my land drops to try to crop into Blaststones in the sideboard. But we do have Maze and Glacial Chasm. I think the play to win is just to get Library on board and hope it sticks. Even if we can't pay the extra life, being able just to kind of extend our hand a little bit and try to dig for removal in the top 3, I think is worth it here. My opponent could also say, hey, I have 2 creatures on the board. I know this Delver's flipping. Or I think the Delver's flipping. You're not going to be able to use this library. Delta. Okay, that's good for us. No Wasteland, which is nice. Hey, Beta. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. Okay. Put on top, put on top. I like the shuffle effect of Wooded Foothills. I could also play Depths. And then just crop it away in case of something. I also just have Outland Liberator here as well as a potential blocker. I don't really want to play the Knight as a 3/3 just yet. Could also try to aggressively like crop into Bog here, but I kind of like Dark Depths next turn and just see if we can crop into stage. Hey Spud, afternoon to you as well. Is this a no flip? With Ragavan out of the format as well, I've seen some number of main deck Brazen Borrowers, which is pretty good against the Dark Depths plan, obviously. Opponent here most likely thinking, do they want to fetch away that card on top? And they want to draw it, even though it's not, so it must be Wasteland. Yeah. I think Wasteland's probably the only card that you actually want to keep. Pretty happy just to fire away Crop here and see if we can get some value. They want a daze. Sure. This could be them just trying to get a Murktide into play as well. Because now they can Bolt and also Murktide, which is pretty brutal. Well, if we find a removal spell for this Murktide, I'll be pretty happy. And there it is. I have 4 cards left. Okay. Can I pay here? That's the big question. I don't think I can. They haven't used a Force of Will yet, which is pretty huge. But do I want the land? Paying 4, most likely for the fetch land, means that I can at least try to shuffle next turn to find either more removal or another way to get Dark Depths online. But it puts me to 12. So if they do have Force blue card, then the Murktide is just a 2-turn clock. Probably less because it turns like Bolt online as well, because I assume the Delver will flip after not flipping for 2 or 3 turns. So I don't think we can. Put on top, put on top. Opponent thinking in draw step, which is interesting. Yeah, pay 4 is definitely appealing. It's just tough with so many, most likely increments of 3 on the board. Okay. I could have done an upkeep to flip this, but I don't think there's a big difference between a 2-2 and a 3-3. Bolt. All right. Yeah, I think knowing they had no Force is a big reason not to pay 4. Reclaim is quite nice. 1, 2, so close. I could go for Reclaimer into Chasm. Expressive. Do they find a creature or an artifact? That would be a tough spot. Go down to 2, go down to 1 with the Misty. Yep. Land. We get down to 4 with the fetch. I would love for them to attack with the DRC, but we can see that that is not the play. I do want to shuffle away that knight as well. I kind of want to find... I think I'm just going to get the Triome. Because I want to try to find Broadback and get back Solitude. Crop. Okay. Okay. Well, I guess we try Crop first. Let's have a quick think. They have 4 cards. Ah, is it this turn? Let's have a quick look. Correct. Correct. That would actually be... yeah, that'd be broken if it could do any. I think we just put this on top. And then we're going to go for stage. Going to do it now before they're tapped out. Which means if they have like Force Negation, they have to actually like pitch a card as well. Force shot. They hit a creature. Sadly, it's just pretty much lethal now. I guess we can go and get Chasm, pitching that Dark Depths, but it's tough. We do have Bog, but Bog is 4 damage anyway, because we can't block and then sack. So it has to be Chasm here. Which really puts us in a bad spot anyway. Yeah, like I don't think we even have a way out of this once we get Chasm on board, because you have to sacrifice a land here as well. Especially if they have a another Murktide. Well. Yeah, I'd say that the Dark Depths plan in this deck is not the main way to win. It's just nice to have one in the deck. I think especially because the mana is just so so tough. Yeah. Tough. Delver. Endurances, Carpets, Blast Zone, Maze. I don't think I want the tab. I can definitely take out the libraries. Outland Liberator. Interventions are a little bit high. Prime Time. Tab is interesting. I think it's just going to be this. I could see Caracas coming out as well. Going up on tab. I don't mind one library on the draw. Maybe Intervention's just okay. Especially for Foretell. Kind of rough with the Temple Garden, but I don't mind this hand. Turn 1 Temple into Dryad Arbor, and then turn 2 try to double Reclaimer. Nice. Sure. I think it's just a way to like get a lot of value off like wastelands and fetches to get towards Field of the Dead. This was the deck that 5-0'd, and it played the full 4, which is pretty sweet. I think it's really cool with the value you can get back. Solitude. If a permanent you control be put into a graveyard from the battlefield, this turn exile it instead. Interesting. Hey, Apex Gaming, thanks for the raid. A huge thank you. What did you guys just play? And how did you go? You played against this deck at FNM? Very cool. Legacy Saturday Night Magic, very nice. I think if these Reclaimers survive, I just want to go for Flagstones and start building up my mana that way. DRC. Bloodstained. I could respond to this with Solitude, but I'm pretty happy to keep the Solitude for now. Ponder, okay. They bottom a Force. Ponder is probably a keep. They chose to shuffle, which is good for us. How are you feeling on the lands list that won Entity Philly? Yeah, Green White Depths without Moxen is very cool to see. Ooh, not just yet. Not just yet. What do I want to do here? I don't mind Swords DRC pass with 2 mana up for Reclaimers. Which means I get an attack in with 1. But yeah, really cool to see. I know the player did want to play Moxen and just didn't get them on the day, but yeah, very cool to see. Bolt. Is there a way to put multiple lands into the bin this turn? I don't think there is. Because even if we got like Chasm, sack a land, I think we're just going to use this to get flagstones. Probably getting rid of the Dryad Arbor just because it's open to so much more removal. Let's have a quick think. Yeah, I think it is going to be flagstones. We don't have like a step to save it. Double bolt. Okay. Yikes. Double bolt Wasteland's really strong. Okay. Ooh, okay. We might get to brought back next turn Solitude and the land if they go to cast Murktide. That'd be pretty dope. If they went like land 1-drop into Murktide, I'd be pretty happy. Or even if they countered the Murktide, or is it from play? I think it is from play. I don't believe I could have made them a 3/4 because they were only 1/2s with no lands in the bin. The lands come in tap, so even a fetch land wouldn't have done it. This is pretty cool. We get to get back the land here as well. I will just get the fetch land, I think. It's definitely interesting. Unfortunately, yeah. Definitely getting back Solitude, and I think it will just be the fetch land. They didn't force the Solitude, so I don't think they'd have the force for this. Yeah, which is quite nice. Opponent playing Mountain. Interesting. I know a lot of decks have moved away from Mountain. Okay. Probably pretty close to just fetching for a Savannah and copying it with Stage. Surgical on swords, that's more than fine. I could copy the Mountain if I wanted to get like 3 colors for ending, but I think having double green is quite nice. In case I draw like Scavenging Ooze. Broadback's a pretty nice top deck after they have Surgical'd me, so it means if they go like creature into removal on the Solitude, we can then broad it back. It also means we can be aggressive with Solitude, which is quite nice. Two cards left for my opponent. All right. This does open up the Solitude to being removed, but I'm okay with that. Especially getting down to 6/6 Knight. Our clock is just faster. They do attack. Do they? Okay. Interesting. I was going to maybe think about putting through the Solitude, but I think this is actually okay. I think building up my board is better, just to make sure we also have a really good clock. I could have also held up like Mazavith off the Knight, but I think we're just at 22 life. It's just so good. They know about this ending as well. Yeah, like they're nearly in a spot where they have to keep back the Murktide. They have to have like maybe like Submerge as a free spell. Nice. I think we're just going to run this back. Just not enough solid cards to bring in. That I think just trying to rely on the Swords and Solitudes to buy time to land a big Knight or a 3/4 Reclaimer is good enough. There is some sort of like Knight of Autumn, because a gain 4 in a deck that predominantly deals damage in multiples of 3 is relevant, but I don't mind that over the extra Cosmic. Like, buying that extra turn can just be enough sometimes. There's also a world where, like, second library isn't too bad if you do have the removal to keep off their early aggression. Just because if you're trading 1-for-1, your opponent's getting up on expressive iterations, you do it in a way to get back some extra value. But I think all in all, library's just a bit risky. I also gotta not forget about Yorion. That's a big one as well. Pretty happy to keep this. Okay. Happy just to lead on Flagstones here as well. I don't think there's any card that makes me want to play a green spell, not even Reclaimer, and not even Green Suns because we have the Dried Upper in hand. They chose to not shuffle. No turn 1 creature is pretty big. I'm also happy to try to run this library into a Daze. Oh, it sticks. Okay. Well, now I can find a land to play around Daze with the Broadback on Solitude. So I kind of hope they play a second creature here. They also 6 that turn, so it seems like they don't have potentially another force in hand. Ooh, If we can hit both of these DRCs with the Solitude, I will be a very happy person. We just need to find an untapped land off the library. And there it is. Swords is pretty nice as well, let's be honest. Put on top, but I'm pretty happy to keep the swords here. Just to dig a little bit as well. Sorcery land currently in the bin. I could also just keep this on top for now and play it a little bit safer. At full life is a lot. I think that's actually okay. We're not shuffling anyway, so put on top. Land. Cast Pitching Knight. Hit this. Brought back. Haha, so good. We did lose the knight, but I'm pretty happy with that all in all. The question is, do I want to get down the Reclaimer this turn? I don't think I really have the luxury of waiting for 3 lands in the bin, so I might as well. It doesn't play around days, but I'm pretty happy for them to have like 2 threats now in play they have to deal with. See what they bolt first. They actually go for that. That's interesting. And now if they have a dragon, we have the sword on top as well, which is nice. Nice. That's fine. They have 3 cards left. They didn't have Force last turn. Interesting. I kind of want to hold up Reclaimer here. I definitely want the swords. And then I think I want to have the stage so that I have a land to actually activate Reclaimer with as well. So nice. And now we can just pass. We also get to sack the flagstones, which gives us the ability to kind of build up the Reclaimer. If my opponent has Bolt, we can also get another flagstones, which then puts 2 lands in the bin, which plays around Lightning Bolt, which is really nice. Because if we go and get anything else, the Reclaimer stays a 1/2. Nice. So here, just going through the motions, we use 2 mana, we sack the flagstones. The land has to come in tap, so we can't get like a fetch land, but we can sack sack the stage here, which puts a 2nd land in the bin, and then go and get another flagstones, which then with the legendary ability we get to then sack 1. This is now a 3/4, and then we get to get another land, which I'll probably just get the Triome. And now they need double bolt for this Reclaimer. And they might not have it. We also now have like another flagstones for Reclaimer next turn, which is cool. And they don't. Wow. Okay. I kind of like just Green Suns for another Reclaimer here and hold up Crop. Hey DJ, welcome. Hope you're doing well. And now also get some beatdown going, because they're at 27, so I have to get to a stage where I can actually beat them as well. But I think maybe going for depths over the next few turns is pretty nice as well with this crop rotation in hand. We just need an extra mana, because then we can use 1 for crop, 2 for stage to copy, and 2 for reclaimer to activate. So essentially next turn we can, which is pretty cool. Yeah, the list is pretty interesting. The broad backs have been pretty awesome. This is going to be a Murktide. Okay. We get a fresh 3 here, which is nice. Maze is really cool as well. And now we just get to hold up the Reclaimers. And even if they find a Wasteland for the Maze, we have Crop to go and find the other one. I can nearly go for Field as well, but I think here we'll just keep chaining Flagstones. Go and get Temple Garden. No. And then I could just go and get Stage. I don't mind that. Because it doesn't matter next turn if the Dark Depths comes in tapped. Solitude is really nice here as well, which we could just hardcast. Don't really need to though. Put on top. And this leaves us with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 4, 5 mana, which is 1 for crop, 2 for reclaimer, 2 for stage. So even if they get rid of maze, we can crop for the other maze. Yeah. Pretty good spot. If I really wanted to play around Force, I could try to crop there. This looks to be like a Brazen Borrower. Getting rid of 1. Interesting. They're just trying to race, potentially. They have 1 card left in hand. I think here I'm happy just to try to make my 2020. And then we still have Maze plus Crop Maze, which kind of fights against their ability to go wide here. One card left. Yeah, I think so. Broadback brings back a lot of things. You can even like in a few games now, we've actually brought back Solitude after we've evoked it, which is pretty sweet, and like a fetch land. Nice. We're 2-0. But yeah, it's really for the grind. I think both are just really strong at getting extra value off cards that you don't usually get value off, like fetch lands, like Wasteland as well, like Wastelanding your opponent or going for the Dark Depths combo and then being able to get those lands back at the end of turn as well is pretty cool. Interesting spot there. Interesting match for sure. I think the Solitude on the double DRCs was pretty strong because it looked like they, after that, didn't really have a threat until they had enough mana for Murktide. Yeah, Broadback's been really cool. And And it's kind of nice as well, because if I built this deck, I think I would add like Mox Diamonds into it to have some sort of acceleration, but the card disadvantage is something as well you have to consider, especially when you don't have libraries to recoup them straight away. But yeah, it's been fun. I mean, that's pretty cool. Yeah, this deck has been really cool. All right, we're on the play. I always forget about Yorion as well. We actually haven't even put Yorion into hand. I mean, like, the interventions here are pretty cool for Foretell. And we can cast it on a later turn. So if you foretell it on turn 2, you don't have to use it until turn 6. Is that correct? And foretell here with like crop and windswept with field is pretty dope. Yeah, I would say it's closer to like a green-white depths list that's just been built out with like removal and this like brought back intervention package. I think it's just a little bit too slow though. I think I'd rather have a creature-based hand. Which this is, but we don't have the mana to really do anything. Tough. I'll keep this. Doesn't have green mana, but I think that's fine. Intervention's definitely interesting. I guess with intervention we have white mana. Green mana because we can hit the flagstones. But yeah, I think maybe that 7 was okay. And should have just tried it out with intervention. Yeah, this deck would be horrible against combo. But against like any sort of combo deck with green-white, you're going to have a tough time. Just a pass with Scalding Tarn. Huh. Do they get to see this? I assume so. No. Face down. Okay. Okay. Not too bad. My plan this turn was to like wasteland my own flagstones, get a land, and then foretell them back. I kind of want to see another wasteland for my opponent, but we see nothing. Interesting. They're gonna discard here? Interesting. This is a really weird game. Hey, Jack. Oh, Jake. Yeah, going so well so far. This was a bit of a rough keep, but can't be too unhappy. Opponent is discarding these cards, and we're just happy to try to draw into lands and play them. I don't think I want to... This is an interesting one. It's during your turn we can do this. Oh, no, wait, sorry, that's just foretell. Yeah, so we can do this at instant speed. I think I'd rather try to wait another turn to get an extra land. We could tell the other one, but then we're tapped out, so then if our opponent wastelands us, we're in a pretty tough spot. I want to hold up the mana to be able to cast this for its Foreteller instant speed. Okay. Now I'm pretty happy to try to get probably just a basic... Oh, they might have Stifle. That's not too bad because we have the intervention to bring it back. Yeah, I don't mind this. Oh, did I do it too early? Should I have done it in response? I think I should have done it in response. Yeah, okay. We're learning. We're learning here. Oh, no. Oh, actually. No, this is pretty cool. Because we can wasteland our flagstones now. Okay. We're all good. We're all good. Wait. Oh, but it goes to... Oh, it gets exiled, not the... Oh, no. Oh, it gets exiled and go to the graveyard, and it needs to go to the graveyard to trigger. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. Hey, Ebub. Ugh. Alright. Well, we tried to do the thing, and the thing did not work. That's actually pretty funny to know that Cosmic Intervention does not work with our flagstones. Oof. That's one for the highlight reel. Yeah, I feel like my opponent is also a little bit lost. I think I do want to waste on them here. Even if they have Stifle, I can then intervention it back. Oh my gosh, I was supposed to intervention first, wasn't I? I was. That's all good. We are just gonna put all the bad plays into this game, and then win next two. We'll be fine. We're good. We're good. Apologies for people who are watching this and trying to get some sort of education or some sort of learning out of it, because this is not working. And look, we might be under a quick death as well, so not too bad. Well, there's force number one. Tough. I mean, the 5 didn't have a green source, but I thought we would get there. But obviously the Stifle as well on the fetch line is pretty tough. This is the best way to learn, because you make mistakes that you'll never make again. And I say that, but we did just wasteland first before interventioning. Intervention is not brought back. That's very true. In a pretty tough spot here. Reclaimer at least blocks the Delver if it doesn't flip. And then we have Flagstones to pitch to the Reclaimer anyway. But yeah, Bolt with 10 on board is lethal. Alright. Not a fan. Not a fan. Not a fan. Not a fan. Fan? Fan. 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 Nice. It is currently 11:45 a.m. on Sunday morning, which is pretty cool. Tough. That game was definitely one that I will remember for a long time for all the wrong reasons. We won. Reveal Yorion. And I don't mind this hand. I'm probably just going to go for turn 1 Green Suns for Dried Arbor, because then if the Dried Arbor gets bolted, we get to play the Reclaimer on turn 2 as a 3/4, which plays around Bolt, which is really nice. Nice. So far in the future, it's pretty much the same thing, unfortunately. Humanity has not done too much in the 12 hours that I have above you. Delver, cool. Flagstones, interesting. I'm going to go for Library here. I want to wait another turn to try to get this Elvish Reclaimer online. They're going to force this. Sure. Pitching a True Name. That's pretty big for us because we don't really have an out to True Name. Okay. It's hard to do anything when you're upside down. Very true. No flip. That's pretty big. Wasteland's fine. This is fine. I'm going to play the Flagstones this turn to play around Days. Nice. No flip. The question here is, am I willing to trade the Reclaimer for Delver and Bolt? I think I am. But they don't put it up. Okay. So they don't have Bolt in hand. Jesus, McDumps. It is not. I will answer that at least. We know about Stifles from game 1 as well, so Maze against Murktide can be a little bit awkward if they do have Stifle. Even just like one Stifle can really change things. That's pretty cool. I kind of like just holding up Reclaimer here with Maze. I could play second Reclaimer though. I could also attack with Reclaimer. I kind of like getting used to this Flagstones though. Which is tough because it does open me up to Stifle pretty hard. I guess if we sack the Flagstones anyway, it's not too bad. I could have also attacked and then mazed my own creature, but I kind of like just keeping the maze up. Wasteland's fine. They're going to tap it for mana. Oh, another True Name. Winter Orb. Interesting. wonder if I just get stage here. I think it might just be flagstones because it's so good at getting rid of stuff. Okay. I am going to hold up the maze here. No, I'm going to make them wasteland me so I can try to broad it back. It's been like 4 turns. Okay, so they have 3 cards. I can either play around days here or be yeah, this is an interesting spot. Crop for Wasteland's pretty good. The question is, how do I want to crop? Like, do I want to get rid of the flagstones or do I want to get rid of the triome? If I get rid of the flagstones, I have 2 cards to bring back with brought back, but I can't get a white source. Yeah, brought back tap lands is awkward, that's very true. I think we will go for. Yeah, we can sack the flagstones later, which is really nice. So this is Murktide. That's not too bad because we have the maze. Sure. I don't need to wasteland just yet either. Probably happy just untapping the maze here because of the Murktide, not the green source for Reclaimer. We have a pretty high chance of also drawing a green source. Okay. I probably want to wasteland here though. I could wasteland an upkeep, but that doesn't play around Stifle. But, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's also a world where we could start going for Field of the Dead. I do have double maze in the deck as well, which is cool. The upside of Wastelanding in their turn is that if they have Wasteland themselves and go after Maze, we can then get back Wasteland and Maze with brought back. But of course, that doesn't play around. Like the coming in tapped is tough. I think I'd rather see. Is this target? No. Yeah, because I could like Wasteland the one land they untap, but if they untap the island, then it's awkward. Yeah, I think, yeah, Wastelanding right now doesn't really do a whole lot. I'd rather see if they do untap a Volk, and then seeing if I can Wasteland it. And even if I can't, then we can try to do some brought back shenanigans. Untap the island. No flip. Guess they could have Stifle here. No Stifle. I also don't mind trading the flagstones here for Yavimaya, because then it doesn't really matter if the land comes in tapped or not. Oh, that gives me access to green sources. And I actually might just get Field. Oh, I can't get Field. I have to get like Temple Garden. No. And then Yav now. Yeah. Untap Maze. And then the Wasteland casts. Stage is pretty sweet. I think Stage will actually use to cast Reclaimer. See what it flips first. Nothing. Okay. The big question is, do I really care about red, or would I rather have the untapped source for me? And I think I'd rather have the untapped source. Yeah, this delve was pretty funny. Oh. Yeah, I'm happy to do this just like right now and see if I can start attacking with these two Reclaimers. Okay. It's tough because holding up Dark Depths is 2 mana for the Reclaimer, 2 mana for the activation. Okay, so it flips. They have Force in hand. Expressive. Pyro. Okay. Yeah, this game's been pretty funny. So we know they have Force in hand and 1 unknown. still like attacking with both here. Oh, if they try to like petty theft, interesting. Okay. What if we untap this? We brought in Tabernacle, right? And Tabernacle's pretty nice here with the Winter Orb out. I'll get rid of the Temple Garden. Go and get Tab. Ha 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 ha! I can't really... I guess they can just get a free block now, but... I guess we'll see how this works out. Like, they could just get rid of it by double blocking and then keeping the Young Pyro. Okay. That's fair. Which isn't too bad. But I can't really do that otherwise. I guess we could attack with the other one and then untap. That's probably the better play. To just not use this one and use the maze on the other. Yeah. I think that was just a bit of tunnel vision. But they do only have one card in hand, being Force of Will. So here we get to untap any land and play the Reclaimer. Rallia. Now it's pretty funny because the Winter Orb and the Tabernacle just keep down the land that we untap. I think we're still in a really good spot. Because they can't draw like land and something. It has to be like Submerge or a free spell. Hey Boyd, welcome. Hope you're doing well on this fine Sunday morning. I'm going to untap Stage. And then, of course, pay for this. But now we also have the Clock, which is... Oh, that's a huge draw. But with the Tabernacle in play, it's a little bit rough. I'm actually not sure if I want to cast it or play it. I don't think I do. Yeah. I think I'll just hold off for now. Yeah, Dragon's a pretty nice out for them. Because I'm not sure what this Young Pyromancer's doing if they can't cast spells as well. And also if they can't go wide with their Young Pyromancer. It's going to be pretty tough for them. Yeah, we're pretty good on this board, which is nice. We have a 3-turn clock. We know they have a mountain as well, I believe, so there's no point... Oh, they're going to go for... Folk. Okay, but then just pay anyway, of course. Yeah, I'm sure if I really thought about it, the field was probably okay to play. Because now this is a 2-turn instead of just a... Huh. Probably didn't mean, like, you can just play that second main as well, but... Interesting game for sure. Okay, nice. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. If you guys think about sideboarding, let me know. I'll be back in a sec. Minute left. I think it's worth having the Knight of Autumn in the deck. And I think we can take out Caracas. Just a land that isn't really that important in this matchup. We also don't have any creatures to save, I believe, anyway. Interesting match for sure. I don't mind this hand. It has a bit of interaction in a few ways. Again, I'm probably happy just to try to forest into Dryad. Get those lands in the graveyard going. What, do they have Bauble? What do they just try to do? Solitude. Also means like land here turns on just hardcast Endurance, which is pretty cool. And I think if they don't have a removal spell here for the Dried Arbor, I'm pretty happy to trade with the Delver. Really just want to buy as much time as possible, and it still builds towards that ability to... Interesting. Yeah, I mean, especially looking at our hand, I'm pretty happy to block here. Pretty fine trade. Surely that attack means they have a backup threat, though. No. Okay. Ooh, Carpet. We will try it. Neither of these allow us to play around days, unfortunately, but they're going to force that pitching at Stifle. Cool. I think I'm now at the case where I'm happy to play Bog here, because land into that makes a 5/5 Murktide. They also pitched a Stifle, so hopefully they don't have a Stifle for this Bog. Nice. And the real sort of role of Bog now is just the mana to play around days for these other cards. This was a list that Jake sent to us, which 5-0'd a league. Very similar list. The only changes that I made were taking out 2 Misties, adding in 1 Scrubland, and adding in a Renegade Rallier, just because I really like that card, especially in this little list. Now this is an interesting one. I kind of feel like I need to answer this Young Pyro pretty early, because we don't have great answers to it. Like, we have like Reclaimer for like Tabernacle, but I wouldn't mind just like Solitude on this and then play Reclaimer. Just so that if they have like Force or Bolt for the Reclaimer, they don't get a token off it. Yeah. I just really like keeping their board at nothing as well. They have the Stifle. That'd be tough. Or just like Brainstorm to try to find something. Must be Stifle. Alright. Time's also a pretty big factor here as well. But the double wider brought back is definitely showing its downside here. Two cards in hand for my opponent. Another Maze. Just going to pass here. And most likely turn the Bog into a Yavimaya, because then we can actually cast the Endurance. We also then get to put the Bog back into the deck with Endurance if we want to target ourselves, but I think we want to try to get Reclaimer to a 3/4. Hey, Harry, welcome. Temple Garden. Temple's actually quite nice here because it means we can hold up Endurance and Reclaimer, so I am going to pay 2 here, especially at 20 life. If they fetch here, I probably want to respond with Endurance, although it's only a smaller creature anyway. Alright, still happy to get this Endurance into play. Force Pitch Stifle. Sure, they have 1 card left. I think in this case then, I'm happy to turn Forest into Thespian Stage. And then we have Dark Depths online, 2 mana, 2 mana. Getting the stage first because it comes in tapped. We get to play a land. And then we don't have to fetch here. I'm just going to do it in their upkeep. Because if they have like a Brazen Borrower, then I want them to use it in their turn. Or a Stifle. Okay. Well, now we kind of just 6 and hope. Brainstorm, sure. Fetching does get value brought back, but I think that we probably want to be doing other things with our mana if this doesn't happen. It's going to be a pretty good brainstorm. But yeah, playing around Wasteland's really nice. Also like the ability for them to draw into Stifle and then like kind of make us time walk ourselves by stifling the activation trigger of Thespian Stage. Nice. Very cool. I mean, sometimes you just gotta put the pressure on and hope that they don't find anything, and they didn't, so... We are 3-0. For as much as these games have gone kind of wild, it's definitely nice to come out on top in each of them. That's two blue-red Delvers, and the other one was... I'm trying to remember what it was. Sometimes you just delve the Delver deck, yeah. Unfortunately, Delver just delvers me a lot, but it is always nice to get up against them as well. Oof. Man. But hey, Adam, thanks for the follow. Hope you're well. And also to Malox. A huge thank you. Right, up against Kasadi. I don't mind this hand. We have like turn 1 Swords or Crop if really needed. We have a half of the combo. I'm pretty happy with this. Had to make an ult because of the new phone. Nice. Is this going to be Delver again? Okay. I'm pretty happy just to play the Savannah here and just hold up Crop or Sword. I could play Heath, but like Stifle is a little bit of a consideration. Tundra. Okay. Reclaimer. Reclaimer's pretty nice. There's some thought of like a Teferi deck, and in that case I want to have 2 threats into play next turn in case they tick down on Reclaimer. I want to have Windswept Heath open so that if they have a... I can then fetch Dried Arbor then and kill the Teferi. So I think I will play like Windswept, play around Daze, play Reclaimer, but try not to fetch up anything here. They're gonna force it. Okay. Wow. Interesting. Want no background music? There should be. It might just be a bit softer than usual. I can definitely hear it. Can you guys not hear the music? What is this? Dress down, end step. Sure. It's very quiet. Oh, cool. Okay, nice. Oh, they missed a land drop. That's huge. They missed a land drop. Another Reclaimer is pretty nice. Another Force? Hull Breacher. Okay. The question is, do I want to take them off another card? Probably Tundra, because it represents Swords to Plowshares. I don't mind like just trading away probably the Depths here for a Wasteland, and then next time we can play Caracas, play Knight. Keeping them off 3 mana seems pretty good. Savannah, Depths, crop this away. They have 2 cards left. I don't believe they're a Daze deck. And at least like losing the depths here isn't the worst because it doesn't tap for mana right now either. Force negation? Sure, okay. I guess that's a reason to do it in upkeep, which is just technically correct, so. Ugh. Yep. Tough. Yeah, and we definitely get punished there as well. Tough. I just didn't think after double force I'd have another force, but I think like you should just play best practice, which is upkeep. Oh, they're gonna try to draw there. Interesting. Now we get to play the knight, which is really nice. What do I want to do here? I think I just want to hold the knight up for... Dark Depths over time. Oh, we do also get to foretell at some stage. If we really want to. Thespian stage. A land here would be nice. Crop is pretty good as well. No creature for them is interesting. Brainstorm. I could take them off the fetch land to see if we can I don't mind this, especially seeing they're on 2 cards. Beginning of the next end step. So the latest I can do stuff is in their second main. They have a force pitch force. Huh. That is going to be okay. We still have the combo online. 1. No, so close. I was thinking we could crop into Yavimaya and then float mana with Dark Depths. We need another land for that. But that's all good. Ending. Okay, well we might as well go for Dark Depths then, especially if they're on 0 cards. Oh, it's in the bin? Oh, okay. I did not think of that. I guess we go for flag then, just to get some sort of value. And then might as well go for Dried Arbor here to start some attacks. But yeah, I totally forgot we got rid of the 1 Dark Depths in the deck. Okay. Ooh. Ramanap, get back Dark Depths. There we go. There's the line. Okay. Yeah, this deck doesn't play a step. It probably could as a card. They also fetched at end step, which is interesting. What they top deck? Days Undoing. Alright. That's really unfortunate. Sure. No Safekeeper in the deck either. It's not really a Depths deck, so the protection spells aren't in the deck. I assume that's why they're not playing any. I think here we just drop a land and then hold up, cycle into Solitude, I guess. Could also cycle now to see if we hit a Wasteland, and then we can take them off like 6 mana next turn. So we might as well go 1, 2, 3. Okay. And now we can play the Yav to hold up Dark Depths as well. This is tough as well because I believe they can kind of stifle the ability of Deathspin Stage with a Days Undoing as well at instant speed. But I'd rather play around like Prismatic Ending or Teferi Bounce, of course. But might as well try. I'll attack the Fairy. And then Green Suns for Elvish. Play a land, which allows us to hold up Brought-Back, but with Teferi in play, it doesn't actually matter. I don't want to show the field just yet. But there is a world where getting field into play is more important because of Days Undoing. But yeah, it really all comes back to that crop rotation and keeping them off 3 mana in their turn. Hey Charlie Brown, thanks for the follow. Hope you're doing well. Okay. They're gonna, interesting, they're gonna trade the snap for it. One, two, three, four, five. I think I'll just land the field now. And then next turn we might be able to like brought back. Yeah, I was gonna say if they don't trade the Snapcaster there with the Arbor, they must have second sword for the Reclaimer. But I don't want to like just not play the Reclaimer either. Ponder's okay. But now we really need a way to get rid of this this Narset. Ooh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Brought back is also kind of free, which is pretty interesting. I think I'd rather prime time and then save the brought back for down the line. I'm gonna brainstorm first. They don't fetch either, so I assume we see a Days Undoing here, unfortunately. Surely. Okay. Bounce snap. Tick up. Huh. Yeah, pretty happy just to concede there. Blue. Carpets seem cool. I don't mind Blast Zone for 3. There's not really great surgical targets either, especially because we don't have hand disruption. I don't mind having a knight and the endurances. I think endurance is just better than surgical. Caracas can come out. Ooze is interesting. Swords is needed. Solitude's needed. Interventions can go down. I do like Prime Time. Knights are still okay, especially seeing their mana base. Agent is good. I'm not too sure what Agent really hits other than fetch lands. I think I'd rather have like Knights in that spot where I can go after their mana and also just have a big creature. Could see the Maze coming out as well. And the Glacial Chasm. Yeah. I think this isn't too bad. Liberator's good in case of like back to basics. I don't mind the libraries because I think the libraries otherwise are just cards we need to have in the deck. This is probably just a mulligan. A bunch of mana with a Solitude. This isn't too bad. A little bit rough on the 2 lands, but happy to keep this in bottom of Intervention. It's just tough with Opposition Agent because like holding up 3 mana on turn 3, like if they cast Teferi, it's like, well, now I have to play it, and then if I play it, they just get to bounce it anyway. Opponent went to 6. I think if they were like on a Stoneforge build or did more like searching, I'd be interested, but also like against a back to basics deck, potentially. Wow. They're really aggressive with their forces on creatures. Vesuva this turn so we can Knight next turn. I could copy the basic here. I don't mind that. Just to play a little bit around like some sort of back to basics of Blood Moon shell. I guess in case of like Pyroclasm out of the deck, I am going to fetch here. Just to make the Knight a 3/3. Interesting that they hit mana, but they don't do anything with 3. Makes me think they're holding up Hull. Okay. Well, I definitely just want to Swords this on sight. I guess I could play around Force Negation again by like Wastelanding and then upkeep Swords, but hopefully this is okay. I mean, if that 3 cards are Force, blue card, and Days Undoing, then that's fine. And then the top card has to be land as well, or those 4 cards in the top. Okay. Pretty happy just to go after the Valkyr because it is a 3rd color for ending. Oh, okay. That's pretty nice for us. Let's start with Carpet. They're going to force that. That's okay. I can now play Wasteland. I think Knight here is fine. We are playing Flagstones. Just trying to get like a Renegade Rally line here with the Knight. I definitely want to Wasteland them though, so we kind of have access to 3 mana. So I probably don't mind just going for second Knight here, holding up Knight. A lot of plays, and then we can try to work towards Green Suns. Ramanap's nice, but there's no lands in the bin just yet. Okay. Wasteland. And attack. Okay. But now double blue is kind of awkward for them. Depths. Okay. Well, now we can just hold up crop here and attack with both creatures, putting them down to 11. Like if they don't have a land here and they just go for Teferi, we can respond. Yeah. Oh, they have Caracas? Well, I'm going to take care of this just now to see if they have, like, swords as well for this night. They don't, which is okay. Green Suns. Our mana's actually looking a little bit tough here. I could kill the Teferi, or I could hold up, trade this for Yavimaya and get double Knight into play. That's pretty interesting. I could also try to Green Suns. I think going for the combo was fine, because they have to have a piece of interaction. Yeah. I think going for Yav here is fine, because that means that we at least have the backup plan of depths. And we can go for Dried Arbor here as well, which is nice. I do like putting pressure on the board here, especially if they're missing land drops. But it's tough. A lot of different plays, definitely, especially when you get a new 7 from Days Undoing. think we just attack them with everything. And then hold up 2020. I could hold up crop, but I don't think I need to hold up crop, especially with Teferi on the board. This makes them have to have, like, snap into Brainstorm, and then just chump block. Sure. Oh, I could have made the 2020 there and then actually got in for lethal. That was just a miss. That was just a huge miss. Tough. I reckon it's going to come back to that as well. I should have just gone for the combo. It puts the Dark Depths and the Thespian Stage into the graveyard, which is the extra 2 life that I need. These things happen. These things happen. I was just so focused on like playing around Yavimaya in their turn, which to be fair isn't that big of a deal because we know about like prismatic ending at instant speed and stuff, but that is all good. Okay, well, thankfully my punt there did not matter, which is nice, but definitely a tough one. I could see Library coming down on the play, especially against Narset and Hullbreacher, but without those, the Libraries are just a way to kind of keep up with my opponent. I still don't think there's anything to Surgical, and I don't think that Agent is better than a 3-drop in the deck, even though it has Flash. I think I'm pretty happy just to, like... List is super fun, yeah. It's really cool to see it 5-0, and then just to try it out has been really fun. Like, it is a 40 land deck, but it's been, like, surprisingly consistent with some of the hands, which is nice. Look. Let's try an Agent. I don't mind having a flash creature against control. It's just a shame of how it lines up against things like Teferi. This is an interesting hand. I don't mind it if they start on Jewels because of the Wasteland, but it's pretty tough. Like, it doesn't have, like, Reclaimer or Library. It does have one half of the combo. I'm going to keep this. I just think for, like, the sake of seeing how a hand like this turns out. Especially if they start on a Jewel. But even, like, a Green Sun 2 would be kind of cool. The big appeal of this hand is that it just hits all my mana, which is nice. The tough thing is it does really nothing against like Narset into Days Undoing. Also, not having a straight out to Hullbreacher is pretty crucial. They're probably somewhat playing around crop rotation here into like Wastelands. They'll probably just get a basic Plains here. Hey, new to Legacy. Welcome to Legacy. They have Caracas. Okay. Teferi, that's fine. Tick up, sure. I don't mind getting Dried Arbor here and just starting to hit the Teferi. I could also get Triumph and try to turn on Prismatic Ending for 3. I think I'd rather the Triumph. So if we draw into like a library as well, we just have the mana around next turn. This is one of those hands where I'd love to have some sort of exploration effect. No Boseiju, no. I think because we don't have a great way to find it and put it into our hand, Ramanat puts it on the field, Knight puts it on the field, and Reclaimer puts it on the field. But I could see like one in the list, but it's just tough as an 80 as well, not playing things like a expedition map. I think I actually will just go for Endurance here at Sorcery Speed. Just to turn off like Snap into Ponder or Brainstorm. Blood Moon's pretty good, but we do have the basics, which is nice, so not too afraid of it. But I will say it's close to lights out for this deck. We have like Green Suns for Night of Autumn and that. Oh, I guess we have Prismatic Ending for 3 because we can make red mana. Interesting. They must just be trying to keep creatures off the field. Oh, there we go. Cool. No hull. It's pretty nice. They don't have double blue at the moment. They're going to bounce the Blood Moon, draw a card, and then replay it. Probably a good reason for us to play the fetch land there in response. Oh. Okay. Force, land, pass. Oh. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Clock is definitely a factor here as well to be considerate of. 2, 4, 5, 6. I don't mind Misty finding the other green source. Just a forest. No one. I could also field right now. Oh, sorry, crop for Dark Depths. But I don't think it's worth it. They do have the Cracker, so I need to find Wasteland as well before I go off. Tough one. We do have 2 green sources. I think I might try to see. I don't believe Stage works under Blood Moon if it's a copy of Plains, but we'll see what happens. I should have also copied Plains so it triggers Field. Sure. And then Days. Yeah. I just don't think we have like a great way to come back from that, so. I think it was just maybe the keep. Maybe the keep was tough. Maybe should have mulled to a hand with more turn 1 plays to build up the board before they can drop a 3-mana walker. I think that's probably correct. Is to like have some interaction before they get to 3 mana and make them have to sort of clear the board before they can drop a walker. Because we are playing a 40 card deck there, a 40 land card deck, and you could see there. I think the first six draws were lands, but you don't have too much to say with that. You just have to kind of take it as it comes. But yeah, I could see like I think in this list, I'm not the biggest fan of Cosmic Interventions as like a 4 of. I could see him as a 2 of, and then max out on the prismatic endings just to have more ways to deal with permanents. Yeah, Red Blast would be sweet if you were going to splash a color. I think, yeah, in this list, I would love to see Red Blast, because I don't think opposition agent's really worth splashing for. And, like, red gives you access to blasts, which just make your combo matchups a little bit better. Well, probably a lot better from what it currently is in this sort of shell, where you're wanting to fight against a lot of the kind of mid-range decks. Alright, up against Bobber. With the Dried Arbor in hand, this hand is pretty rough. I like going for, again, the Dried Arbor and the Green Suns. I guess we can keep this and then bottom the Dried Arbor, so it's not the worst. I'm not sure what Mbobba's been on. I believe they played Delver before. They usually move around a few decks, so it'll be interesting to see what it is. Oh, okay. This makes me want to just Yav into Dried Arbor, because then we can turn 2 if we draw Crop. Jeskai Stoneblade? Interesting. That's going to be a tough one, especially when they're on basics. Like, Kaldra here we just don't really have an out to. Yeah. I guess we can play stage copy Plains. They didn't put anything in, which is interesting. A Batterskull? Okay. Yeah. We'll take one more draw, but I'm going to say this is pretty over. It's pretty much a 2-turn clock. But just not having an out to this Stoneforge is huge. And the mana base not being able to get Wastelanded is, well, it's kind of our plan. And a Plains kind of seals the deal. Tough. I like the Agent in this matchup. I like the Carpets. I like the Night of Autumn, Maze, Blast Zone. Endurances are okay. Oof isn't that great, as a lot of their artifacts just by themselves are so good. Caracas. I'm just not a big fan of interventions, especially in this matchup where the Wastelands aren't really doing a whole lot. Libraries are fine, Rally is fine, Knight's fine. Like, I could see Ramanap coming out. Doesn't do a whole lot against their mana base. But Jukebox still seems okay against, like, maybe Snapcaster, or if they are playing Merc. I could also see, like, a Wasteland coming out. Could see a Knight. Could just be one Endurance, to be fair. As a Green Sun's target. Like, down on one crop as well. But yeah, those starts from Stoneblade are really strong. Really, really tough if you don't have an out to the Stoneforge. And if you don't have like an out to like Force as well, it's pretty brutal. And a lot of hands are going to have like the, you know, 2 lands, a Force and a Stoneforge Mystic and a blue card in 5. It's not that hard of an ask from this sort of deck. Okay. I kind of like Green Suns here to turn on the Knight turn 2. Could try to carpet here. Oh. I don't mind Yav. But I also want to play around back to basics a little bit. So now we know one card is Kaldra. Could like Swords into Wet Air. Okay. Well, Library's a fantastic draw. I don't mind attack with both here instead of holding up crop. I'm not sure what I want to crop into just yet. So It's pretty nice as it turns off Sylvan Library here. And finding swords means they can either hold swords to see how I attack the Narset, or if they just want a swords now. And this one is swords now, which is nice for us because now Solitude goes at Narset and Dried Arbor goes at the other card. Attack Narset, attack them. This crop is definitely representing most likely the Dark Depths combo. Could also be Bajuka Bog. Jace. I guess Jace can tick up here. Okay. I like killing the Jace here. So let's go crop away Ghost Quarter. They're gonna, yeah. I was gonna get Thespian Stage, copy the Dried Arbor, and then attack for 2. Could just be double Reclaimer here. Supreme Verdict's definitely a card to think about, but I think if we're playing a little bit too slow, then one removal spell each turn allows this Jace just to survive, which is pretty tough. No shuffle. Okay. I do need to find a second white source for this Solitude, which will probably just be a Flagstones. Huh. I don't think Dried Up is doing too much here. They could just be doing this as well to keep us off, like finding a second white source. They didn't put in Kaldra either, which is interesting. Oof, perfect. One, two, three, four, five. I think I'm okay with just leaving this for now. We know they have Kaldra in hand, but they're so close to just hard casting it that I don't think I want to like Solitude on the Stoneforge. They have Jitte as well. We do have the Maze for Jitte, which is nice. Sort of Feast and Famine, yikes. I think on this board, we just go for Thespian Stage into Dark Depths rather than go wide. I could have also used a Reclaimer there, and I definitely should have, but I didn't. Yeah, okay. Nice. Bathroom break. Let me know about sideboarding. If you'll change anything, I'll be back in 2 seconds. Sylvan Library is an interesting one. I like how much it pulls me ahead if it does stick. And if it eats like a Prismatic Ending, it's one less for a creature, which is kind of nice. Interesting start. It might just be another crop. Yeah. Crop can just be a bit too much of a blowout. But seeing, I gotta remember Yorion as well. We haven't cast Yorion. I'm pretty happy to keep this. If we can hit like a Tundra with this Wasteland, I'd be pretty happy. Well, Prismatic Ending means that we won't be hitting that, but that is fine. Okay, no, turn 2 Stoneforge is pretty huge. I could just play a Stoneforge. I could also hold up Brought Back. That's kind of cool. They get Caldra. Okay. Oh, we can brought back here as well. Oh no, we can't. I guess we could have brought back the Solitude, but I think the Knight here is just a little bit better. They also missed their extra land drop, which is pretty crucial. I'm pretty happy not to fetch, because if we just find like a Yavimaya, then I don't want to use this fetch land. Okay. Well, now I don't mind. Probably just getting a basic as well. There's also the option for Scavenging Ooze, Eat Ponder, which stops like land into Snapcaster Ponder. Yikes. Now the pressure's really on. Ugh. Surely they have another land in hand and they're not pondering for a land. They did choose to shuffle though. Okay. Well, there we go. But again, they just have Batterskull to put in. Interesting. Tough. You can definitely see in these last two games where, interestingly, they just put in Cauldron now instead of in their turn. I guess because they have the land for Feast and Famine. Yeah. I don't, like, we can draw a card, maybe, and see how this goes. Like, we could try to get towards Prismatic Ending or Swords to Plowshares, but even then it's pretty brutal. We have to discard as well. Okay. Eat a Ponder. Then we can just fetch out Dried Arbor. Close. Yeah. Tough. Well, I think we did okay against the decks that I feel like we would do okay against. And then obviously you could see that blue-white just kind of blows us out of the park. But yeah. Deck was sweet. Deck was cool. I would probably go towards more removal in the main deck over the interventions. We also didn't really cast Yorion at any time, but I could definitely see where that works in the deck. And like, Caldra is always going to be tough for a deck like this without heavy removal for Stoneforge Mystic or Prismatic Endings for the tokens. But I mean, against the Delver decks, it seemed to do pretty well, which is nice. But it really comes down to variance. I think against the blue-red decks, we just got lucky and didn't draw a bunch of lands. And then against the other decks, we kind of just drew a bunch of lands. So there's not too much you can say. Like, you could add a 4th Sylvan Library if you really wanted to make sure you weren't hitting like 5 lands in a row. But I think with this sort of deck, you just got to take that on the chin because that's just kind of part of it. But yeah, to go 3-2 isn't too bad with a bit of like a meme deck, I guess. Definitely no disrespect to the guy or the person who went 5-0 with this. Very cool to see. But I just think that like there's a lot more to do with Yorion than this deck. As cool as it is to run the full 80 cards, you do have to find like a lot of reasoning for it. Like, do you really need to run all the fetch lands? I guess they're pretty good with like cosmetic and brought back, but I could see a world where you go like up on prismatic endings, go towards like red blasts in the board instead of opposition agent, and then just have a better game against blue decks because they're really going to ruin you, especially when Sylvan Libraries one of your best cards against those. If you can play around the prismatic endings from their end, then that's pretty nice. But otherwise, yeah, it's gonna be tough to keep up with that sort of 2-for-1 play that a lot of those cards get. So yeah, a huge thank you to Jake for the deck. It was sweet. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I believe it's the first non-D&T Yorion deck we've played on stream, so that's pretty sweet as well. If you guys want to find me, you can find me on YouTube, Twitter. But until then, enjoy. I'm going to see who else is streaming and send you guys over there. I think the Legacy Pit probably is. Nice. Well, the Pit is, yeah, a great place for Legacy content. So I hope you enjoyed this, and we will see you next time. Enjoy your weekends, and yeah, stay safe. Cheers. You're welcome, Jake.